and one dead kid is one dead kid too many.
Right now at 11, a troubling increase in suspected fentanyl overdoses and the direct impact it's having on teens, even children. Also tonight,
it's not true that the Pac-12 was falling apart and it was so unstable that you had to head for the exits. The Pac-12 falls apart if you leave.
And today, they did it again, how the Ducks swam off and left the OSU president holding the bag. But first, a step forward for the family of a man shot and killed while running from Clark County deputies. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm David Mulco. We begin with that update on the family of Kevin Peterson Jr. suing Clark County, the former sheriff, and 2 deputies after 2 officers shot and killed the 21-year-old who was black during a drug bust. A federal judge ruling today that lawsuit can move ahead. Alma McCarty is in the newsroom with reaction from Peterson's family. Alma.
David, they're grateful they can take their case to the next step. One of their lawyers telling me most officer-involved shooting cases don't make it this far, while Peterson's family believes he should still be alive.
October 29th, 2020. Kevin Peterson Jr. showed up to a parking lot in Hazeldale. Court documents say expecting to deliver 50 Xanax pills.
It was what's called a buy-bust operation. And when he realized it was a setup, he ran. And the officers chased him, and he kept running, and they kept chasing.
Attorney Mark Lindquist represents Peterson's family.
One of the things that stands out in people's memories about this shooting is that Kevin was running away, and the officers shot at him from behind.
At the time, then Sheriff Chuck Atkins initially said Peterson shot at deputies first, but an independent investigation found that to be false. The Clark County deputies who fired their weapons were cleared of criminal wrongdoing by a Pierce County prosecutor less than a year later, who found the shooting justified and lawful.
The officers weren't criminally prosecuted, but there's a vast difference between the standards of a criminal prosecution and the standards of a civil lawsuit.
Then in May 2022, Peterson's family, including the mother of his child, sued Clark County, the sheriff, and the 2 deputies, accusing them of wrongful death, negligence, and excessive force. The suit argues the deputies who shot Peterson had no legal justification to do so, because the 21-year-old did not pose an immediate threat to anyone. On Wednesday, a federal judge ruled the lawsuit will move ahead to trial.
The opinion seems to acknowledge that Kevin was shot while he was running away, that the first officer was shooting at his back, and that he had a cell phone in his hand when he sat up, not a gun.
The federal trial will be held in Seattle, the judge setting the start date for October 30th. We reached out to the lawyers representing the county, former Sheriff Atkins, and the deputies involved. At this time, we have not heard back. David?
Thank you, Alma. Appreciate that update there. We want to get to some startling statistics now. Portland police call astronomical and unprecedented. They are referring to the number of young people in the Rose City who've apparently overdosed on fentanyl in recent weeks, from toddlers to teens, several of who did not make it. A total of 9 suspected fentanyl overdoses, 5 of those fatal in Portland alone since the middle of June. That number 9 equal to the total number of youth overdoses Portland police say they have investigated in the last 3 years combined. We found out about the most recent case yesterday as a 15-year-old sophomore at Jefferson High.
Every one of these kids that have overdosed and died is an entirely preventable death, and we all need to work together to stop this carnage.
Police say including overdose deaths among adults, 2023 is on track to be another record-breaking year. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Police are investigating the death of a man early this morning in southeast Portland as a homicide. The man was found dead near Southeast 26th and Division, and neighbors believe they may have heard gunshots. This is the first homicide in the Rose City in exactly a month. As far as we know, there have been no arrests. Also in southeast Portland, police are searching for whoever robbed and shot someone near 145th and Division. This was around noon. The victim was taken to the hospital. While police have shared few details, we did see crime tape up around what appeared to be an encampment. No update on the victim's condition and no word on any arrests. And in Beaverton, the school district is urging parents to remind their children about strangers after someone attempted to lure a child. This was near a bus stop near Meadow Park Middle School. Officials say a man in a white box van told the student that school was canceled and then offered them a ride home. The student ran away and told staff. District officials also say a man recently approached student athletes at Sunset High and offered them some kind of supplements. Well, this evening, Oregon lawmakers are weighing in on the fallout from the crumbling Pac-12, essentially now the Pac-2, with one sports powerhouse that is leaving and another school left behind, both testifying at the Capitol. Catherine Cook takes us to the hearing that you might say was an all too familiar repeat of recent history.
This was a chance for Oregon lawmakers to have a conversation with leadership from both the University of Oregon and Oregon State University about the conference realignment. Specifically, they wanted to hear from OSU about the financial crisis they say they're in, with Oregon now leaving for the Big Ten next year.
We had only one choice.
University of Oregon President Carl Schultz doubled down before state lawmakers Thursday on the school's decision to exit the Pac-12 and join the Big Ten.
This decision was firmly rooted in ensuring a stable place where our students and student athletes can thrive.
Under the Big Ten media deal, the Ducks are projected to earn about $30 million per year. That's more than the $25 million a year reportedly floated in negotiations with Apple, according to The Athletic. A deal Oregon State would have been a part of. OSU President Jayathy Murthy criticized U of O's suggestion that the Ducks took their time in moving forward with their choice to leave the Pac-12.
What cannot happen is decisions made literally overnight. So August 3rd, we're still talking about Pac-12 going forward with a media deal. And by 7 a.m. on August 4th, the whole thing's gone and we are left with $40 million a year in the red.
Murthy calls the looming deficit a financial crisis for Oregon State. A crisis lawmakers want to help OSU navigate, though the path forward is unclear.
Is there a role for the University of Oregon to step up and fill some of that hole? And I would ask President Schultz, but it looks like he left.
It's true. After Oregon's president and athletic director testified and answered initial questions, they got up and left before OSU's turn. Lawmakers plan to follow up with the U of O. Meanwhile, President Murthy had plenty more to add about heading for the exits.
It's not true that the Pac-12 was falling apart and it was so unstable that you had to head for the exits. The Pac-12 falls apart if you leave.
In Salem, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Remarkable. Speaking of sports news, still ahead at 11, how Damian Lillard is saying farewell to Rip City and the send-off from the Blazers. But first, tempers flare over millions for homeless services, how a long-awaited plan left some leaders and Portlanders disappointed and frustrated.
I'm Matt Safino. If you are frustrated with weather like this, don't worry. We've got warmer and drier days ahead, but those showers are not going to go down easily. There's more in the forecast for tomorrow, but October will begin with warm, dry weather, and it may last for quite a while.